PPC's out. On 228th side, Team 1, dual Kodiak 3s, Spider 5K, Jenner 2CA energy variant, 2 Hunchback 2C energy variants, and dual Timberwolves. On the Team 2 Squad Foxtrot, dual Jenner Oxides, 2 Kodiak 3s, a Stormcrow, maybe bringing Spreaks, Grasshopper 5P, possibly some longer range going on here. Let's take
and
a
a
look.
Warhammer 6R final mech there.
Possibly running Gauss, maybe UAC 5 PPC. Looks like Squad Foxtrot might be setting up for a little bit of a range game instead of charging in blind. Let's see if they can control the map. Here we go. All right, large pulse machine guns on that Spider 5K. Crit Seeker, Hunchbacks bringing PPCs. Gauss PPC coming out of 228. So we're gonna have ourselves a little bit of a range game here on both sides. Timber, Gauss PPC, ER PPCs. Let's take a look at Squad Foxtrot. Stormcrow with Streaks and ER Smalls. Kodiak 3 with UX. UAC 10s coming out of the Hunchback 2CC. Looks like we got 2 up on the Spire. Grasshopper rolling ER Larges. 3 ER Larges. Pretty cool running build, I would say. And then Gauss rifles and medium pulse lasers coming out of the 6R. So some Overwatch putting some shots downfield. They do have some DACA support coming in. So I'd say Squad Foxtrot would probably fare a little bit better in the close range game, but 228 has a very wide spread of mechs.
They are really circled out around the match.
If Squad Foxtrot decides to charge in, it's going to be pretty rough because they're going to be pushing in on only a couple mechs while the rest of them shoot them nonstop. But it looks like they want to get aggressive on that left side. We've got a charge across open field now. Live leading the charge in that Kodiak 3, but they're focus firing on Master Bear. 77%, nothing open yet. They're spreading very well. They're really
doing
armor
a very
sharing.
good job spreading at this point.
But they're getting pelted from that right side hard.
And 228's backing up some. This is a good play by them, but the Kodiaks are going to be what the first mechs to be encountered here are.
If they can take those Kodiaks down early, that's going to be pretty big. JZ is one of the best players, I would say, on 228 Wild Ones as the team leader, and they're going to get the jump on them now and see if they can keep all their mechs alive on this intercept. Halamede, the initial one to go down. JZ is the next focus target. So far, so good for Squad Foxtrot, but they've lost one of their Oxides.
And the Stormcrow has switched off to these light mechs, it looks like. 200
tons off the field for 228, but they were able to take live out in that DACA Kodiak. They still have a long way to go to close the distance against the remainder of those 228 mechs. They do have the Spider and the Hunchback 2C available on the left side here. If Squad Foxtrot can keep moving to the left side, they might be able to get a little bit of cover and some
one of the
reprieve
lights does
from
go down for 228.
Spider. So there's
Street Crow is doing his job.
They're moving in now on that Timberwolf, but they do have that Spider 5K in the backfield as well. Master Bear was not able to get away from that Hunchback before getting taken down, but 4 dead for Squad Foxtrot. They are working on Hate Priest in that Timberwolf right now. Grasshopper coming in right behind him. Looks like he's one-shot CT, should go down shortly, but Spider 5K with those Crit Seeker coming in with those machine guns and getting a big kill on that Hunchback 2C. Streak Boat continues to try and take the Spider down, but for some reason just cannot handle him. And then the Grasshopper going in against a overheated Timberwolf.
And there is still a Hunchback for 228 way in the backfield here.
That Grasshopper is outnumbered up in front against this Timberwolf, burning as much as he can in, spreading that damage, but he is getting wailed on. One-shot CT, and he goes down. 2 mechs remaining, the Street Crow and the Warhammer 6R. Where is this Warhammer?
The Warhammer is off to the side. He's been trying to deal with this Hunchback 2C, but the Hunchback has been sitting in the backfield. He is fresh as can be.
Looks
Actually,
like
both
legs are
Hunchbacks
open
very
on the
fresh.
Warhammer, and he actually gets legged. That's no good. Blunt object in that Hunchback going in face to face, looking like he wants to handle this. Those PPCs, and he goes down. So last one remaining is that Stormcrow. He might be out of ammunition. He's trying to use those ER smalls to the best of their ability.
He is out of ammunition here.
Looks like drop 1 is going to go in favor of 228. A very hard charge by Squad Foxtrot. Almost
But
pulled
great
it off.
positioning by 228 there.
I love that positioning by 228. They definitely just put a lot of distance between them and their opponent, and that Spider coming in and getting some of those key kills with those crit-seeking machine guns. High rate of fire on those. Let's take a look at the damage. Wow. So they did take those Kodiaks out early, but Jay-Z's still managing 305 before going down. Definitely a solid amount of damage coming down. It was a brave push by Squad Foxtrot coming around that left side. They did get those Kodiaks caught out. However, it was such a long distance to be able to swing around, and they were losing mechs from those high Overwatch Hunchbacks up on the right side. They just continued wailing on them. Let's see what the damage on the Hunchbacks. 441 and 574 blunt object, pulling 574, 3 kills. That is huge. Spider, 3 kills, 431 damage. Fantastic work by that Spider, just getting in there and getting the work done. Even against a streak boat, was able to do quite a bit of damage. Very impressive. 639 coming out of that streak boat. Probably a lot of that spread because of the nature of streaks, but either way, good effort. So we'll be going into drop 2. We'll see which side Squad Foxtrot opts to take for drop 2.
They want to stay on team 2.
Let's go ahead and do another quick mech pack giveaway, and then we'll get right back into this. Alright, like I said, fantastic crowd out there. We're almost to 500 people watching. Early Sunday morning. I didn't even, like you said, I didn't even know that this time of day even existed on a Sunday for us North American people. C3, what is that name? C3PESO.
C3 Peso?
C3 Peso. C3 Peso. I guess. Send Banapy 17 a whisper with your in-game name and what standard pack you want. I can see the sun's coming up in your house right now. Is that what that
Yeah,
is?
it is. I'm gonna have to adjust the blinds here, actually, I think.
The sun will come out tomorrow. Or today. Alright, let's go look at the replay of that one. Alright. Trying to keep my eyes open here.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Alright, initial setup by 228. They had the range deck. We had some poke going on from Squad Foxtrot with their Gauss and ER Larges up on top, but I think they were getting a little bit out-traded by those Kodaks on the left side, so they opted to drop down and take the fight to them. We had those DACA mechs, including the DACA Hunchback 2CC, but they opted to charge in on the left side. There's those 2 Kodiaks up here. Another mech up here. I didn't even see him before. Wonder how they were able to handle him. But you can see all of those PPCs and stuff coming in from that right side. Is just a massive hail of fire coming in. They kept everyone alive, though. They were able to keep those Kodiaks safe for the time being. Ultimately, though, getting in there, taking down the first Kodiak. Jay-Z is staying alive forever, still pulling 300 damage. Live with the team kill on a Chroma. The Oxide actually got taken out by a teammate's strike. That's brutal. I didn't even see that come by. That's a bummer there. Using strikes in a brawl, though, is pretty risky, especially when you got lights operating in the area. I think that was the Spider 5K. No, there's still something way up in CSJ corner. Still up there. So that's what you were saying, is that Hunchback 2C was way off in the distance there, still operating. And that's who was trading into the Warhammer. But both teams are in lobby and readied up. Let's take a look. So did you say they were on the same side? I am seeing a little bit of a deck change. Squad Foxtrot bringing a Raven and a Blackjack 3 to this one. So they look like they are reaffirming their range deck. We'll see whether that makes a difference. Let's get in and take a look. So adding additional ranged mechs and a Hunchback 2CA instead of the Ballistic variant. Let's see if they can out-trade 228th. Looks like no changes on the 228th side. I want to see what that Blackjack's got. Where are you? Dana, 2 PPCs. Interesting choice, Blackjack, huh? Over like a Hunchback 2C.
Blackjack was very, very strong for a while there, but the patches that kind of pulled the Blackjack back made it onto the tournament client. It's an interesting choice to say the least.
All right, initial trades coming in. Looks like very minimal damage dealt thus far, but once again we got the 6R and the 5P up on top. Oh, the Grasshopper taking some shots. You can just see every time they peek, they've got multiple 228 mechs popping shots at them. And these so far are not very good trades. They are getting some damage in. 88% though on that Hunchback who is coming in. This must have been the same Hunchback before. Coming up on the CSJX hill.
Just an arm. Did take some damage to a torso actually. So not quite superficial damage there for Stone Falcon in that Hunchback.
Let's see where that Raven is operating here.
But this Grasshopper is getting pounded up here on top of the spire.
Not sure where this Raven's going. He must be going back for Sigma Cap. So he is going, it looks like Squad Foxtrot wanting to play a little bit of a cap game. Theta falls to 228th though. So tickets starting to go in favor of 228th. Squad Foxtrot's probably going to have to work the kills here. Just dodging that airstrike for Master Bear. They're still getting some trades in. The left torso is open. And there has been, he did lose a PPC to a crit. So he's at half strength right now. So that was pretty good work by Squad Foxtrot, kind of cutting that Hunchback in half. But he's still on the field and he's still dangerous. And Squad Foxtrot still needs to focus on good trades. Another airstrike going in. This might be a big win. Right across 2 Kodiaks.
Ouch.
Very solid damage from that airstrike.
Definitely feels like 228's winning the trades right now. These 2 mechs on the spire for Squad Foxtrot, the back to Grasshopper and the Warhammer, are getting just pummeled up here. This Grasshopper needs to be careful. He does not have a lot of armor left.
That Hunchback 2CA has finally lost that shoulder down to 58%. The other shoulder is getting a little bit weak. The Oxide just sitting, essentially doing nothing, waiting in the works. There's not much he can do at this point. MD center torso almost open in that Timberwolf, trading against that Blackjack. How's the Blackjack faring right now? Still has a lot of his armor left. Left shoulder is probably the weakest out of all of them at this point. But trades continuing to go back and forth, but tickets in favor of 228th. So Squad Foxtrot at some point is going to have to make a move. It looks like 228th is actually sending one of those lights, since he has nothing better to do, off to Gamma.
That's a wise move. I wonder if the Oxide should have been doing that for Squad Foxtrot.
Yeah, the 5K could have potentially been trading, but Maybe they're worried that Squad Foxtrot is going to make a move and come in. Another great airstrike across that Kodiak. These Kodiaks are just taking a lot of spread damage, but they're getting bled down over time here. Both Hunchbacks for 228 at least showing red. Let's see whether or not Blunt Object is...
He's actually lost a torso already.
So both...
Down to 1 PPC.
Okay, both of 228's Hunchbacks are pretty hurt. Is he must be back in the Spire over here?
Yeah, he's on the Spire on the opposite of the stage side.
For some reason, I just cannot seem to find him.
The usual Spire.
Oh, he's up top? Aha!
Yeah, he's up top.
There
he's
he
on
is.
the Spire.
All right. See, even making me lose him. His center torso armor is red, though, and could fall to structure any moment now. But trades continuing on. Squad Foxtrot not looking too terrible.
Yeah, I feel like they're starting to pull this back just a little bit. They've got some really beat up mechs, but managing to spread that pretty well, it seems, across their armor.
Another strike.
Let's take a look at this Grasshopper here, though. This Grasshopper is down. He does not have any more of his large lasers left. Only small pulse.
Uh-oh. So that took out a lot of firepower for Squad Foxtrot, and their Overwatch is now out of commission.
He's extremely hurt there.
So tickets continue to bleed in favor of 228, and you know, a lot of damage across the board really makes it so some of these mechs are going to be in trouble here. Halamede in that Kodiak still doing pretty good on the left side, and I'd say that it's getting a little bit worse for wear for 228. One of their Kodiaks just lost his key trading shoulder. His ERPPCs are down.
Stone Falcon did go down for 228.
So Master Bear is down to 1 Gauss rifle remaining. He lost a lot of his firepower with that Gauss crit. So that was a pretty key crit. But yeah, 1 mech down for 228.
That being said, the Kodiaks for 228 are still plenty fresh.
That is pretty big. If these Kodiaks can stay fresh, where is JZ trading out of?
Yeah, where has he been hiding? Oh, he is right on stage. He must have been trading very well. I mean, he is hardly touched.
Yeah, he's using his cover extremely well. I think he was putting a lot of focus in on that Grasshopper. So he's able to kind of just focus on the Grasshopper and not really have to worry about any of the remaining mechs on the ground, and that'll keep him safe as he trades in. ER Larges versus Gauss PPC. If you can land the shots.
Squad Foxtrot looks like they're moving up to the edge of the ring here.
I don't think they have much of a choice. They're bleeding tickets at this point. They're going to have to start winning on kills. But it's really going to come down to these next few minutes here as they try to land some of these shots.
They do have the Grasshopper behind. I wonder if he's waiting for a push, or I'm not quite sure what his strategy is there.
Wow, some of these shots actually coming through the hole in on that Blackjack, just slipping him through from that other Kodiak. So they hurt the Hunchbacks a whole bunch, but a lot of the beef for 228 still doing pretty well.
Timberwolf and both Kodiaks hanging out just fine. Light mechs obviously not that damaged.
545 tickets. Squad Foxtrot's going to have to make a move here, and pretty quick, and I think the call is going to be coming pretty shortly.
That should be coming now because the Grasshopper has gotten the Kodiaks turned around. JZ is pulled off of stage. All of 228 has pulled off of stage except for this Timberwolf. This is the time to push if they want to do it. And here they go. Here goes Squad Foxtrot around the right side of stage here for them. But they're pushing into where 228 has pulled out.
So we've got the Spider 5K and the Jenner Oxide jumping on the Oxide for Squad Foxtrot. The Grasshopper trying to help wherever he can, but Chroma's actually pulling him away from the Grasshopper, making it a lot more difficult for those small pulses to make contact, and he gets shredded down. I think that was kind of a bummer. He wasn't using the Grasshopper at all, really.
And the Grasshopper does go down.
So 2 quick kills on Squad Foxtrot by the lights over there, and Squad Foxtrot's moving up, but it looks like it might be too little too late. They would need a 4 cap at this point to win, and this is going to go in favor of 228.
They didn't get out-traded too badly, but I think you can say that they were out-traded. And at the same time, they didn't have the map control. Having that Oxide just kind of sitting around waiting for most of the match is tough, especially when you see T28 going and getting those cap points. You need to start the lights into a counter cap.
The last one remaining is the Raven. Not going to make a difference. This one is going to go in favor of 228 via cap. But a good trading session. 228 definitely coming out clean. JZ eventually got knocked down to 48% on that push. You can see all 3 tortoises very hurt. He lost both of his Gauss rifles to crit, but survived them. That is crazy.
He basically anchored that push, or anchored against that push by Squad Foxtrot, and he was fresh enough to do it. He held them back.
So they managed to get I can't believe he kept his torsos. That is mind-blowing. But those must have been Gauss crits right at the freshest state of those shoulders. Like, they crit the Gauss and that was it. He kept both of them. But they did end up getting the kill on the Raven right in the last second. So 8-1 in favor of 228. And they will be moving on yet another step to the finals. And then Squad Foxtrot will be moving down to play against ISRC. Take a look at the damage. 803 coming out of JZ. That guy is a beast. An absolute beast. Very good trading out of him. Achroma and that Oxide held to 9 damage at the end there. Wasn't able to really do anything against those other 2 lights. Just was in full retreat mode. Scraped him with a couple SRMs and that's it. Take a look at the bracket here as it stands. Squad Foxtrot drops down into the elimination bracket. They will be playing ISRC in match 7. Winner of that will be going up to face 228 Wild Ones in the finals. And the winner of the final match will be going to Vancouver to face the top 2 of the other 2 regions. Well, top 1 of each of the other 2 regions.